How you doing, everybody? Rob Oakman out here at CFB Borden. And, I noticed that a lot of the stuff that I've been looking at, like the Sherman's a pretty big tank. But I mean, compared to a Tiger, King Tiger, or even a Panther, it's pretty small. Because the German military, for the most part, wanted to go bigger, more complex, which is actually part of their downfall. But they didn't always get it wrong. And in the world of tanks, there are the tank destroyers. And you would think a tank destroyer's got to be something ridiculous. Well, believe it or not, this little guy, right behind me here, you can see I'm taller than him. This was probably the best tank killer of the war. So this little war trophy is the Jagdpanzer 38T. Now this little thing doesn't look like much, until of course you get a look. This is a 48 caliber Pak 39. Now it could penetrate 80 millimeters of armor at 1,000 meters. That's pretty darn impressive. And when you consider the size of it, the fact that this thing can get around just about anywhere, especially when you're talking about in Normandy, where you're in bow cage country, the road's very narrow, you can hide these things anywhere. You can hide them in small towns. Also, you'll notice it doesn't have a turret. These were tank killers, assault guns. They were not tanks. And what also made that great was, like I said, I stand next to this thing, pretty close to the same height. It's about 6 feet tall. So you could hide these things just about anywhere. You could hide them in buildings, hedgerows, just about anywhere you wanted. Heavily armored with the 80 millimeters themselves. These little things were fast, they were vicious, and there wasn't an Allied tank in Normandy that could stand up to it. Now this one doesn't seem to have any damage on it, even though I know from reading about it that it is a war trophy. But I will show you something that's pretty cool about these things. Now you might notice that after about 1942 you started seeing these things on tanks. Just very, very thin metal panels that they started to attach to all their tanks. The reason was small handheld infantry rockets, like the bazooka. They were very, very good at cutting through well over 100 millimeters of armor. And this didn't have that much. Very few German tanks did. So what they would do is attach these to vulnerable areas. And actually, if you saw in the larger Jagdpanzers, like the larger versions of this one, they would actually cover the entire tank. And what that would do is when the rocket would hit here, it would fire off, and the shape charge would go early. So by the time that the stream of hot copper would get inside, or if it was using just a space gap, just a little bit of air in front of the explosive, that would direct the blast, like a little hot jet, it would eliminate a lot of the energy by the time it got through this and actually hit the armor of the tank. Brilliant little piece of engineering. It didn't cost much in weight, so they didn't have to eliminate a lot of the shells that they had to carry, because, I mean, these guys would pile them on the floor. The last thing you wanted to do was run out of shells. So this little Jagdpanzer 38T is probably the best example of a tank killer. Apparently size isn't always everything. So like, subscribe, let me know what you guys think. Tell me if you have any experience with these things. Maybe your grandparents, maybe they drove them, maybe they had experiences with them. And love to hear your comments, and I'll talk to you kids later.